Have you ever caught yourself whispering things like, "It's too late for me," or "I'm just not as sharp as I used to be"? Maybe it's when you're standing in front of the mirror, noticing a few more lines than you remembered. Or maybe it's when someone asks, "What are you up to these days?" and you feel a little blank, like you're not sure how to answer. You're not alone in that feeling. But here's the thing. Just because we've crossed 65 doesn't mean we've crossed the finish line of purpose, growth, or joy. In fact, some of the richest, most meaningful moments in life happen after the so-called finish line. The trouble is, we often block those moments without even realizing it, and it starts with what we say to ourselves. In this video, we're going to gently uncover 5 things many of us say silently or out loud that are quietly stealing our joy, limiting our growth, and making us feel smaller than we really are. These are phrases that feel harmless, even logical. But when repeated enough times, they start shaping how we see ourselves and worse, how we don't see ourselves anymore. So, let's talk about it not with shame or guilt, but with kindness, like a good friend would. Let's start with one of the biggest culprits. "I'm too old for that." Oh, how many dreams has that little phrase shut down? How many adventures were never taken? How many hobbies never explored? Just because we decided there's an age limit on trying something new. But here's the truth, and I really want you to hear this. Age isn't a deadline. It's a milestone. It's not the end of your potential, it's just a different chapter of it. Think about it. Colonel Sanders didn't franchise KFC until he was 65. Laura Ingalls Wilder didn't publish her first Little House book until she was in her 60s. And Grandma Moses didn't even start painting until she was 78. 78. So, when you say, "I'm too old," what you're really doing is handing your power to a number. But you are not a number. You're a life, a story still being written. Maybe it's not about starting a business or becoming a famous artist. Maybe it's about finally learning to play the piano, or joining a book club, or just wearing that bright red dress you thought wasn't age appropriate. Who decides what's appropriate anyway? The next phrase that creeps in, and it's sneaky, is, "I don't matter as much anymore." Phew, that one stings. And it's not usually said out loud, is it? It shows up in little ways. Staying quiet during conversations, hesitating to share your opinion, brushing off compliments like they're not meant for you. It can come from retirement, from losing someone, or from simply feeling like the world is moving faster than you are. But here's the thing: you do matter. In ways you may never fully see. Your presence matters. Your smile matters. Your stories, your wisdom, your warmth, they matter more than you know. You've walked through decades of love, loss, learning, and laughter. That is not invisible. That is not disposable. That is sacred. Just because your role has changed doesn't mean your value has faded. In fact, in many cultures around the world, elders are seen as the backbone of the community, the ones who carry the heart of the past and the wisdom to guide the future. And you don't need to stand on a stage or write a book to be influential. Sometimes, just listening to your grandchild, or encouraging a neighbor who's struggling, or even smiling at a stranger in the park, these things ripple. They plant seeds. And those seeds grow, even if you never see the fruit. Let's take a breath together right here. Because if you've said either of those things, "I'm too old," or "I don't matter anymore," I want you to know this. It's okay. You were probably just trying to protect yourself from disappointment, or make sense of a world that sometimes feels too busy to notice you. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Your story isn't over. Not by a long shot. And now that we're softening those old, familiar thoughts, let's talk about another one that might be holding you back without even realizing it. You've come this far. You've seen the first signs of that quiet voice in your head, the one that says, "I'm too old," or "I don't matter anymore." But you're still here, still listening, still showing up. That says something about you. It says you haven't given up. And you shouldn't. Because here's the third phrase we need to stop saying after 65, maybe the most dangerous of them all. "That's just how it is now." It sounds innocent, even practical. Your knees hurt? That's just how it is now. You forget things sometimes. That's just aging. You don't go out as much. Don't dress up. Don't try new things. That's just life after 65. But no, that's not just how it is. That's how it becomes when we stop challenging the limits that have been placed on us by society, by others, and even by ourselves. Yes, your body may be different. Your energy may come in waves now instead of a steady stream. But you are not powerless. You are not finished. And you are not stuck. Change is still possible. And I don't mean overnight miracles. I mean small, steady changes that honor who you are now, not who you were, not who you're supposed to be, but the version of you that still wants more out of life. Maybe it's as simple as adding a short walk to your mornings, even if it's just to the mailbox and back, or learning a breathing technique that helps calm your nerves. Maybe it's joining a local group, even when your mind tells you, you probably won't fit in. That's not just how it is. That's just a moment you can move through. Because the truth is, your life doesn't stop changing unless you decide it has. Now, the next one's going to hit a little closer to home. And that's okay. Let's talk about it gently. It's the phrase, I don't want to bother anyone. How many times have you needed help, truly needed someone, but kept it to yourself because you didn't want to be a burden? Maybe you skipped asking your daughter to fix that cabinet. Or you didn't tell your friend you were feeling lonely that week. Or maybe you didn't call anyone on your birthday because you didn't want to seem needy. Let me ask you something. If someone you loved needed help, would you want them to stay silent? Of course not. So why do we think we have to carry everything alone? Somewhere along the way, we were taught that independence means doing it all ourselves. That strength is silence. But that's not strength. That's isolation. Letting others help you doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And more than that, it creates connection. Real, meaningful connection, the kind that keeps the heart warm and the soul full. People want to help. They want to feel needed, just like you do. So the next time you catch yourself saying, I don't want to bother anyone, pause. Ask yourself, what if asking is actually giving someone the chance to show up? What if your reaching out is not a burden, but a gift? You are not a bother. You are a blessing. And don't let anyone, especially that voice in your own head, tell you otherwise. And now we come to the fifth phrase, the quietest, but maybe the one that echoes the loudest when the room gets quiet. My best days are behind me. This one can sneak in during slow afternoons. When you're looking through old photos. When your house feels a little too quiet, your body a little too tired, your purpose a little too faded. And it whispers, those were the good years. You've had your time. But you know what? That's a lie dressed up as nostalgia. Yes, you've had beautiful moments that shaped you, grew you, broke you open, and stitched you back together. But the idea that your best days can't still be ahead of you, that's just not true. Because best doesn't mean the loudest, or the most successful, or the years when you look the youngest. Best can mean most peaceful, most connected, most authentic. Best can mean the year you finally forgave yourself. The season you started painting again. The week you laughed so hard with a friend that your cheeks hurt. The day you told someone how much they mean to you and really meant it. You are still capable of moments that matter. Still capable of beauty, of joy, of firsts. So let's not close the book just yet. Let's not declare the ending when we're still in the middle of a chapter. So here we are, sitting in the stillness of what's real, not what we've been told to believe, not what we've quietly accepted, but what we now choose to say to ourselves. Because that's the power we often forget we have, the power to rewrite the inner script. And the beautiful thing? It's never too late to do that. Maybe today is the first time you've truly noticed how often these quiet phrases show up in your mind. I'm too old. I don't matter. That's just how it is. I don't want to bother anyone. My best days are behind me. Maybe you didn't even realize you've been saying them. That's okay. Awareness isn't shame, it's freedom. Once you see it, you can change it. But how? Not by pretending those thoughts never happen. Not by forcing fake positivity. That never works. You change the story by choosing a new voice, one that's honest, kind, and rooted in the truth of who you are. The next time that little whisper tells you, I'm too old for that. Pause and say, maybe I'm finally ready now. Because sometimes, the timing wasn't right before. But now you've got patience. You've got perspective. You've got time. If you choose to spend it on things that fill your soul, not just pass the hours. When the voice says, I don't matter anymore, answer it with this. I matter more now because I've lived. Every wrinkle on your face, every scar on your heart, they're not signs of fading. They're medals of experience. They're proof that you've endured, and you still have something to give. When you find yourself sighing, that's just how it is. Try instead. Maybe it's time I challenge that. Whether it's your health, your relationships, your routine, what if it could be different? Even a little? Even just 5% better than yesterday? That's still movement. That's still momentum. And when your chest gets tight with the fear of being a burden, and you hear, I don't want to bother anyone, breathe into this instead. Letting others care for me gives them a chance to love me. Because receiving is a form of connection. It's a form of courage. You're not weak for needing someone. You're wise enough to know that life isn't meant to be carried alone. And if, at the end of a long day, you find yourself thinking, my best days are behind me, I want you to remember this. There are still firsts ahead of you. The first time you try something you thought you couldn't. The first time you feel truly at peace in your skin. The first time you sit beside someone and think, wow, this moment is enough. I am enough. That's the secret, really. It's not about chasing youth. It's about chasing depth, meaning, joy that isn't loud but lingers, purpose that doesn't need a paycheck or applause. It just is like a quiet flame that refuses to go out. So no, you are not done. You are evolving, expanding, shedding the noise and embracing the truth. And the truth is this, you are still becoming, still capable, still worthy of dreams and laughter and connection, still worthy of mornings that make you smile and evenings that bring you peace. So be gentle with yourself. When those old phrases sneak in, and they will meet them with a smile and a new sentence. One that lifts, not limits. One that honors who you are now and who you're still becoming. And if you're watching this and thinking, I needed this today, then I want you to do something brave. Share this video with someone else who might need to hear it too. You never know what a simple act of kindness can do for someone quietly struggling in the background. And while you're here, leave a comment. Tell me, what's one thing you're going to stop saying to yourself, and what are you going to say instead? I'd love to read your words. We're building something here. Something real, a place where age isn't a limit, but a superpower. If this message touched you, please give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and stay with us. We've got so much more to explore together, not just about growing older, but growing deeper. You're not alone on this journey. Not now, not ever. Here's to your next chapter filled with courage, clarity, and conversations that heal. Here's to living your best life at any age. If you're still here with me, I want to take a moment and say thank you. Not just for watching, but for staying open. Open to change. Open to unlearning the old things you told yourself for years, not because you were weak, but because you didn't know you could think differently. That takes courage. And after 65, courage looks a little different. It's not jumping out of planes or making headlines. It's quieter, but no less powerful. Sometimes, it's choosing to get up and stretch your body even when it aches. Sometimes, it's looking in the mirror and smiling on purpose. Sometimes, it's telling yourself, I still matter, even when the world forgets to say it to you. But now you know how to say it to yourself. Let me tell you a little story. There's a man I met not long ago, 72 years old, widowed, retired, and living alone. He told me that for the first year after his wife passed, he said the same sentence every morning. What's the point now? That was his mantra, the one that shaped his days. Until one morning, he walked outside, barefoot on the dewy grass, and saw a butterfly land on his old wooden bench. And he whispered, maybe this moment is the point. That was it. No dramatic change. No magical transformation. Just one shift in language. One moment of grace. And from there, he started talking differently to himself. let me make one good cup of tea today. Or let me call one person I love. Or simply, let me try again. That's the kind of power you hold. You don't need to climb mountains. You just need to change the mountain inside, the one built from words you say to yourself day after day, quietly, when no one else is listening. Because you are always listening. Your soul hears everything you say about yourself. So why not speak life? Why not replace "I'm too old" with "I've never been this free"? Swap "I don't matter anymore" with "I am deeply valuable." Even in silence. Let go of "that's just how it is" and try "I can choose differently today." Let "I don't want to bother anyone" become "connection is my birthright." And most of all, when that sad old whisper creeps in, "My best days are behind me," smile and say with quiet strength, "My best days are the ones I decide to make beautiful starting today." Because that's the truth. My friend, every breath you take is a vote for more life. And how you talk to yourself, that's how you cast that vote. So let's build a new habit together. A daily practice that starts with one sentence, said every morning when you wake up, before your feet even hit the floor. I am still here, and that means there's more good waiting for me. Will you try that tomorrow? Just that one sentence? If you do, I'd love for you to come back and tell me how it felt. Or even better, tell someone in your life. Speak it aloud. Because the world needs more elders who speak with hope, not regret. With gentleness, not judgment. With presence, not apology. And if this video gave you something, a spark, a tear, a breath of fresh air, don't keep it to yourself. That would be a real loss. Share it with someone who might need to hear this too. You never know who's sitting at home feeling invisible. Stuck in their head, repeating the same old phrases you've just released. Let's give them a new voice. If you haven't already, hit that like button to let YouTube know this message matters. Subscribe if you want more encouragement like this, soft but strong, real but uplifting. Leave a comment and tell me one thing. What are you saying to yourself today that's different from yesterday? And if no one's told you in a while, let me be the one to say it. You are enough. You are still becoming. And your story isn't over, it's just getting deeper, richer, wiser. Let's walk forward together, one kind thought at a time. Here's to your next beautiful day.